This year's Academy of Country Music Special Honorees, the ACM Honors, celebrate an artist's individual performance, album, or event and their impact on the genre across a range of categories. It takes place August 19th in Nashville, with Carly Pearce returning for her sixth straight year as host, this time alongside reigning Album of the Year winner Parker McCollum, receiving songwriter honors Langley and Jesse Joe Dillon. Church, known as the Chief, will receive the Lifting Lives Award. The late Brett James, who died in a plane crash in North Carolina last September, will posthumously receive the Poets Award alongside the Carter family. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
A mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow up 182 points as oil prices dip under $70 a barrel, but the S&P down 7 points, the Nasdaq down 110. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
And a very good evening on a summer Wednesday. Nice day, 78 with sun at 5:05. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios in Uniontown. Davis & Davis attorneys at law voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025. Your local station, WMPS 590 and 101.1. Much more on the Weather Watch and the sports in just a bit. Survey teams from the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh confirmed a tornado touchdown in Fayette County Monday. The F1 twister with maximum winds of 90 miles an hour happened in the Sandy Hollow area south of Vanderbilt. This is the second tornado in the area this month, and the F1 went just west of this path on the 6th of June with damage from two separate storms overlapping in several areas. Since mid-May, the National Weather Service has confirmed 14 tornadoes in southwest Pennsylvania. And the city of Connellsville in Fayette is going to mark America's upcoming 250th birthday with an event and parade Saturday, along with the city's annual reenactment of General Edward Braddock's crossing of the Occoquan River in keeping with the event's celebration of America's theme. There will be an apple pie contest to follow at the Ock River Park Visitor Center. The event and parade, organized by the Connellsville America 250 Committee, steps off at 11 a.m. Saturday, starting on South Pittsburgh Street and going through on Crawford Avenue, the intersection there, turning left on Crawford across the bridge, and wrapping up on the west side of town with the crossing reenactment to follow at 12:30 in the afternoon. Authorities state police are warning about a scam call being reported in southwest Pennsylvania. Troopers say a local man called them yesterday about a recent scam caller claiming to be a representative from Comcast that offered to reduce his monthly bill but needed his credit card information to initiate the change on the account. The man did not give a credit card number, but later realized the phone call was a scam. He contacted his credit card company and ultimately did not sustain any financial losses. Troopers advise ignoring the calls, emails, or text messages and contact a family member, friend, or your local law enforcement agency for guidance. Westmoreland County is moving to cancel a 5-year contract signed in 2022 with Ross River Township startup KiloCharge LLC that would install electric vehicle charging stations in 4 county parks. The project sat dormant for many years due to power supply complications, and Westmoreland officials discovered the company has since stopped its business operations. Although no charges were ever eventually successfully installed under the agreement, county leaders remain open to partnering with a different company to bring electric vehicle charging infrastructure to the parks in the future. And the evolution of the Dow Industrial Average is continuing. Daria Albinger has details on which company is in and which one is out.
The parent company of Google is the latest addition to the composite and a sign of its move away from the traditional industrial stocks to technology, replacing telecom giant Verizon. The California-based company joins mega-cap tech competitors NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft. The Dow has been evolving as the U.S. economy does, from a manufacturing base to service-focused companies to tech. S&P Global says Alphabet shares, which trade under the ticker GOOGL, will officially join the Dow for the start of Monday's trading. In New York, I'm Daria Albinger.
More next on WMPS.
Is it time for your first home or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
In sports, we have Bucko baseball tonight, second game of a three-game series. Seattle Mariners taking on your Pittsburgh Pirates at PNC. It will be Braxton Ashcraft on the mound for the Bucks this evening. He's a righty, and the game last night, Seattle winning 3-2 over the Pirates, who lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies over the weekend. The sale of the Pittsburgh Penguins from Fenway Sports Group to the Hoffman family of companies was given formal approval from the National Hockey League Board of Governors yesterday. The transaction expected to formally close before the NHL draft begins Friday. There was no official word on the sale price, but Commissioner Gary Bettman said it was about $1.75 billion.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
This Weather Watch is being brought to you by Centerville Clinics. Do you have black lung? The Black Lung program at Centerville Clinics offers black lung screenings for early detection of lung problems. To set up an appointment, call 724-632-6801, extension 1216. And now to the weather.
Beautiful summer day today, plenty of sunshine, 78. That's the high today, low tonight, 57, up to 82 with a chance of thunderstorms on Thursday. Low at 65, 79, chance of rain Friday, overnight low 65, and showers look likely throughout the day. Saturday at 78, low at 67, chance of showers and storms Sunday afternoon going up to 83, sunny on Monday at 88, then going into the 90s for Tuesday and a Wednesday next week, highs in the low 90s and lows in the mid to upper 70s. Right now, sunny and 78 at 5:11 on this Wednesday. And good afternoon from the Davis and Davis studios at your local station, WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk.
This Weather Watch has been brought to you by Centerville Clinics. Do you have black lung? The Black Lung program at Centerville Clinics offers black lung screenings for early detection of lung problems. To set up an appointment, call 724-632-6801, extension 1216.
And Wall Street is closing with stocks mixed on this Wednesday.
This comes as oil prices have been on the decline, with West Texas Intermediate futures falling below $70 for the first time since March 2nd. International benchmark Brent crude futures have also fallen. Elsewhere, names in energy have seen a hit, with shares of ExxonMobil, Chevron, and others all declining 2%. At the closing bell, the Dow added 182 points, the S&P 500 lost 7 points, and the Nasdaq fell 110 points. I'm Liz Warner.
Your local station, WMPS, the afternoon drive show with Doug Saltzman's next on your local station.
Tired of running out of hot water? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is your local source for reliable tank and tankless gas water heaters. Whether you're replacing an old unit or upgrading to an energy-efficient tankless system, we have options to fit your home and budget. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you get dependable hot water when you need it most. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com. Koval Building Supply. Everything you need to keep your home running comfortably.
This is State Representative Charity Grimm-Krupa, proud supporter of agriculture, family farms, and rural Pennsylvania. That's why I'm excited to support Heartland with Haley. Haley has already made a real impact through her leadership in FFA, agriculture, and service to others. Now she's using her voice to celebrate the people and traditions that make rural Pennsylvania special. Tune in to Heartland with Haley.
Paid for by Charity for PA Rep.
The 2026 Best in Fayette contest is officially underway. Voting runs from June 24th through July 8th. This year, we've added brand new categories, including credit unions, DJ services, property management, and speech and occupational therapy. Plus, you can cast your vote for top local home pros, from remodelers and contractors to gutter, awning, and junk removal services. Support your community and make your voice heard. For more information, go to bestinfayette.com.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor, available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
Is your lawn getting shaggy? Weeds taking over? Maybe it's time for a full yard cleanup or fresh mulch and clean, crisp edges to bring your landscape back to life. Whatever your lawn needs, Z's Ground Control has you covered. They do it right the first time. Call 724-366-9150 today for your free estimate. Z's Ground Control. You grow it, we mow it. The fun continues all week at the Mountain Area Fair. Head out to the Farmington Volunteer Fire Department Fairgrounds nightly through Saturday, June 27th. Bring the whole family for thrilling carnival rides, live music, delicious fair food, a petting zoo, and so much more. Best of all, parking and general admission are completely free. Don't miss out on the summer's best memories. For daily updates, follow the Mountain Area Fair on Facebook.
It's gorgeous outside, which means it's time to get to Bittersweet Cafe of Farmington. From their incredible daily lunch specials featuring farm-to-table fresh ingredients to their refreshing drinks, frozen treats, smoothies, and iced tea, Bittersweet Cafe has something for everyone. Enjoy this beautiful spot nestled in the Laurel Highland Mountains, just a few miles outside of Ohiopyle on Farmington-Ohiopyle Road. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
It's the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug Saltzman. That is Nick Barczyk on the controls. We're with you till 6 o'clock tonight. Pirate baseball. Pre-game, 6:15. First pitch at 6:40. They're taking on an American League team. And despite that fact, I will listen to the game tonight, Nick. I'm sure you're surprised to hear that.
I'm stunned. I can't believe you even knew Seattle had a baseball team because when did the West Coast get baseball teams? What is this American League you speak of?
Yeah, the junior circuit. You know, I don't know what to think of it. But nonetheless, Buccos last night, the relief staff gave up a couple runs. Pirates lost the game. They seem to have everything but that. And last year, it was the relief staff that was holding things together, but not this year. And we'll see what happens. Game below 500. We'll see if they can even up tonight at 500. You hate losing 2 out of 3 to the worst team in baseball previously. Of course, that was the Rockies. They're terrible. Even better than the White Sox, for heaven's sake. But, yeah, that was you hate to lose. You want to win 2 out of 3 to the bad teams, 1 out of 3 to the good teams when you're a team like the Pirates that are on the edge. But I guess we're still in sort of the hunt for the wild card, I guess, at this point, and we'll wait and see what happens. Brashen Ashcroft tonight will be on the mound for the Pirates. Again, first pitch is at 6:40 tonight. So the next few weeks, the Pirates have early games, so we'll be doing shorter shows over that time. But we still get the guests we need and the guests we hope you want to hear from. Tonight, we're going to check in with AAA. Interesting article in the Tribune Review talked about headlights. Now, that might seem like a weird topic, but we've talked about it on the show, about how headlights seem to be getting much brighter than they used to be. I joke that I think everybody's driving around with their high beams on. At the same time, there are now pickup trucks that seem to have 2 or 3 sets of headlights or running their fog lights for no reason. But, yeah, I guess it is, in fact, an issue that LED bulbs are noticeably brighter. And we'll talk more about that again. Jim Garrity joining us from AAA, and you may have heard of him, of course. He's a long time in radio as well. Then we're going to talk to Professor Burwood Yotes. We're going to check in with him on the latest polling that the Franklin Marshall College did in June, and the numbers are not good for the president, and we'll get more details about that coming up after at about 6:40. He'll be joining us on the Afternoon Drive Show. Beautiful day out there, folks. I tell you, it is summer, a little cool lately. But if you listen to the show regularly, you know I don't mind that cool weather at all. It's nice to open the windows at night and let that go. 76 degrees we're showing right now outside our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios. And a nice forecast. Possibility of rain the next few days, but mid-70s to upper 80s through that time period. And this weekend, too, again, chance of rain on those days, but we'll wait and see. That's a while off at this point. It's interesting when you think about something such as headlights, and yeah, that's an odd topic to talk about, perhaps, but it obviously affects everybody. And when you think about driving at night, I'm 62 years old now, and sometimes, I'm thinking, okay, is it me? Are my eyes getting more sensitive now that I'm in my 60s? But apparently, I'm not the only one. And now joining us right now, as I promised, the WMBS Afternoon Drive talk line from AAA, the Public Affairs and Legislative Affairs Manager for AAA, Jim Garrity. Jim, good to have you on the show today. How are you?
Thanks, Doug. Not too bad. How are you?
Good. Grateful you joined us. I was referencing an article from the Tribune Review talking about headlights, not your standard thing that people might talk about, but oddly enough, we've talked about it. Nick and I have on this show that it seems like headlights are getting brighter, and I guess, in fact, they are. These LED headlights aren't just a little brighter. They're 2 or 3 times as bright as the old-fashioned, we'll call them, headlights, correct?
I feel like I've been getting this question for the last 10 years I've been working at AAA. And now we do have a survey that indicates that this is something that people are definitely noticing. 6 in 10 drivers, according to a recent AAA survey, say that glare is a problem after dark, and about 3/4 of those believe it's worsened over the past decade. And there's a couple, it's something that people think is getting worse. 73% of them think that it's intensified. 92% of them identify those oncoming headlights as a top concern. And I think we all know it feels worse at night, obviously. Sometimes when somebody hits a bump while they're coming towards you, I could say anecdotally, I have thought they've been flashing their high beams at me when in fact they're not. It's certainly something that is on people's mind, and from AAA's perspective, it's something we're looking more into.
There's an organization for everything. We always joked about that. And when I was a lobbyist in Harrisburg, we used to joke there were 5 times more lobbyists than there were members of the General Assembly. But there's an organization called, how about this, the Soft Lights Foundation. And it's a group dedicated to the elimination of LED lights. That might be a tough one. Good luck with that, perhaps. But yet, lights everywhere seem to be so much brighter. Lights on the side of the road illuminating a building or glaring onto highways. And if you compare the LED bulbs, and again, this is from this Trib article, 3,600 lumen of light for an LED bulb compared to 1,200 for an old halogen bulb. Again, what a lumen of light is, I don't know. We'll leave that up to the experts. But that would make it 3 times as bright, I suppose. And, it's funny. My brother and I were talking about this. You're driving down the highway. You're convinced someone has their high beams on, so you flash your high beams to try to get them to shut it off. So instead of looking away, I stare at those high beams to see if they ever shut them off. Not exactly the brightest thing to do when it comes to driving safety, is it, Jim?
And I'll add that it's interesting that you say that there's an organization that's out there on this subject, because from AAA's perspective, there is a benefit to having brighter headlights. Obviously, you can see more of the road. It can decrease some of your hazards when you're driving at night, but there is also a hazard of having people who are temporarily blinded behind the wheel. So that's something that, what we do is we look at information like this. We try to work with automakers and to see what do we have to do. Well, we can make a good balance of safer headlights, but also not something that's putting people potentially in harm's way.
It is strange when you think about that and this habit I have of staring at the headlights to see if they ever shut them off. But you're right, when somebody hits that bump, and I guess the other thing, too, there are so much higher vehicles these days. And if somebody, the trucks, for instance, are designed to have their headlights at a certain angle, but if they crank up those trucks and put bigger tires on them, et cetera, they don't adjust the headlights necessarily, I suppose, correct?
Yeah, and you know what? If you look at the survey we just did, somewhat related, pickup truck drivers report being less likely to experience that glare caused by headlights, and drivers of other cars that are, let's say, lower to the ground are more likely to be impacted by their self-reporting. And some other interesting aspects from our survey at AAA was drivers who wear glasses. About 70% of them experience that glare, while 56% of drivers who don't wear glasses experience. So more drivers wearing glasses report experiencing it. Female drivers report more than male drivers at 70% to 57%. And it does not seem that even though the height of your car might be a factor, the height of the driver does not have an impact, and age alone does not show any statistical impact. It seems like it's impacting people of all ages.
Yeah, and even General Motors mentioned that they recalled 750,000 small SUVs because of bright headlight beams causing glare for oncoming drivers. I used to work in the automotive industry as a customer service manager at a dealership, and there were a lot of recalls. I don't remember that one. I guess in the day you could adjust your headlights. Nowadays it's a little different. Of course, you used to if you replace the headlight, it was the entire globe. Now you just replace the bulb. Makes it cheaper, but I don't know if you can adjust headlights like you used to. Even pickup trucks these days, some of them seem to have two sets of headlights. I guess it's just a way to make your car look cooler, perhaps. But yeah, it just seems like it's an issue, and it's again, a lot of people don't like to drive at night. They find it problematic. But it's both the headlights in the cars and the lights in buildings and whatnot. My gosh, they're so much brighter than they ever were before. These LED lights use a fraction of the power in the electricity that the old halogen lights used. And it put out a lot more light than they used to. So, again, it's both on the highway and next to the highway, I guess, is a problem.
Yeah. And this may sound kind of simplistic or obvious, but it bears repeating. Don't look into those lights. When there's a car coming towards you, avoid looking directly into those oncoming headlights and try to do whatever you can to maintain your visibility. And part of that could be just making sure that you're keeping up with the inspection of your car and you're keeping the headlights clean on yours and following the original the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer design and everything. But I mean, really, if they're coming towards you, all you can really do is try to look away, because if you're temporarily blinded, that could put you in a particularly dangerous spot.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, I'm very guilty of doing that. I will stare to see if they ever shut them off, and I should be staring at the white line to the right to divert my eyes.
Don't stare at headlights, and don't stare at the sun, right?
Yeah, you would think that. I have the sun one down pat. I do my very best not to stare into the sun, I guess, especially while driving. As we talked with Public and Legislative Affairs Manager for AAA, Jim Garrity, who's near and dear to folks like Nick and I, and of course, you were in radio for quite some time back in the day, and it's good to have you on the show today talking about this topic. Well, we're a few days away from, of course, the 4th of July, and it's on the weekend for sure, and folks will probably get an extra Friday off, maybe a Monday, except those of us in radio, of course. We never shut down. But let's talk about travel on the 4th of July weekend. Just in time for that, gas prices are coming down, not where they were last year, but certainly better in the last month or two, correct?
No, yeah, actually, looking at gas prices today, you could use the national average, which is down, but you could also, looking specifically at Pennsylvania, people have noticed it's been coming down. It's at 407 today statewide. That's the average. That certainly lower than a month ago when it was 461. But compared to this time last year, it's higher. It was 339 this time last year. So 407 today, 339 last year. That said, look, even Memorial Day, there were more people out on the roads than the previous Memorial Days, and gas prices were at 4-year highs. And even, hey, go back a couple years, 2022, the last time gas prices were this high, actually when gas prices were hitting record highs, and more people were traveling than in previous years. And it's something we notice pretty consistently, is when gasoline prices go up, people still say, I am going on my vacation. I've had it planned. We've been waiting for this. We've earned this. What do we have to do in our day-to-day to make that work for our budget? And a lot of folks will say, well, maybe if it's going to cost $100 extra to fill up, we eat out less one or two nights of our trip. Or, more likely, they make habits in their day-to-day lives back home. They drive less. They combine errands. Don't drive around with that check engine light on for too long because you don't know what that means. You don't know what that's doing to your fuel economy. We're expecting more than 72 million people hitting the roads, highways, skies, all of that coming up for the 4th of July. A record high amount of people, very exciting times in the world of travel.
And when you're talking about travel, that's people who travel at least how many miles from their home? Everybody travels, but for that to be on that list, how many miles is the average trip then fall under that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's 50 miles or more away from their home.
Gotcha. It's interesting. We had a consumer expert on a while back talking about the price of gas, and the thought was, if you're spending $65,000 in an SUV or more, or a pickup trucks now are a fortune, are you worried about the price of gas? Is that a concern for you, perhaps, I guess?
Right. Well, it's certainly a concern for people. But if you look at the numbers, let's for the sake of conversation, this isn't where numbers are today, but let's say gas prices are $1 more expensive and your car takes 22 gallons. And you say, well, that means I need $22 extra every time I fill up. Then you go over to AAA's gasoline website, gasprices.aaa.com, and you use our tool where you can put in what kind of car you're driving, where you're leaving from, where you're going to, and it'll give you an estimate about here's about how much gasoline you'll probably use, and here's about how much you should probably plan to spend. And people may look at that and say, okay, so it's going to be, let's say I'm going to the shores of Delaware, Maryland, Outer Banks. It's going to be, again, sake of conversation, $100 extra to fill up. Well, is $100 the breaking point for this trip? Is $100 extra in the tank the point where we call the whole vacation off? And what we see most often happen is people say no. Even, I would say, Doug, when it comes to flying, I mean, you mentioned people get an extra day off. They kind of use that to their advantage and take a longer vacation. No matter what your budget is and your time frame is, there's a vacation for you somewhere.
Right, exactly. And if an extra $100 would, in most cases, would be a dinner out on vacation. So maybe eat in one night, have a frozen pizza, have chipped ham and peanut butter sandwiches. I guess I could get you that extra $100 awfully quick. Jim,
yeah,
question for you.
depending on where you're going, you might have to bring the chipped ham.
I think you're right. At least 50 miles from southwestern PA. Last question for you. And people always ask, the moment the bombs started dropping in Iran, gas prices went through the roof. And somebody asked me the question, well, the gas stations already had that gas in their tanks. Why did the gas go up immediately? But gas stations and fuel, it's paid for differently, right? It's based on futures, et cetera. It's kind of an odd situation, isn't it?
Yeah, and it may feel, even in some cases, it may feel like it was immediate, but it still might be a couple days after. Look, here's what generally happens, because I get this question a lot. What generally happens is oil's trading at a certain price. That oil has to be sold, bought, transported, refined. Then the gasoline has to be transported down to the stations. So you generally see the impact of whatever's happening with oil, depending on where you live, either in the days after something changes or the weeks after something changes. You could still see that downhill or that downstream effect weeks later. That said, because when this question comes up, it usually comes along with, what do you do if you suspect someone's price gouging? Well, if you do actually suspect that, that's worth bringing up to the Attorney General.
Yeah. And of course, that's the state Attorney General, and they have those consumer lines. And we can get that number later. But, yeah, I think you're right. Gas stations will look very closely. There are very few industries where you can drive down the road and see what the price of the product is, which came up during the energy crisis back in the 70s, where laws were passed that gas stations had to advertise their price. You don't have to find out the price of milk. Right. They don't advertise that outside the grocery store.
Another thing to note is that a lot of the time these gas stations, they're not really making much at the pump. They are making their money in the convenience store. So some of the some of the price fluctuations you may see at the pump may be a reflection of them trying to compete with each other to get you in the door so that you go inside and buy something.
Yeah, there are very few, if any, anymore gas stations that are just gas stations. Maybe ones that also have repair shops. But yeah, you've got restaurants connected to these gas stations anymore, and small grocery stores as well. That's how things are doing these days. Jim Garrity, Public and Legislative Affairs Manager with AAA. Jim, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate your taking time to talk to us about these topics. Have a safe 4th of July. Thanks, Jim.
Sure thing. Safe travels to anyone who's going out this next weekend.
All righty. Thank you. And again, Jeff, folks, you can check out that AAA fuel prices option, as Jim said, gasprices.aaa.com. You can do it state by state. You can do it in Pennsylvania as well. Just Google that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to check in with Professor Burwood Yost from Franklin Marshall, the latest polling, the June polling, his institute has done. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on WMBS.
This is attorney Michael Mays of the Davis & Davis Law Firm. We have been helping injured people just like you recover millions of dollars for over 45 years. If you're hurt or injured, I want to meet you and make sure you get the money that you deserve. Call me at 724-437-2799 for your free consultation. The Davis & Davis Law Firm has been protecting our neighbors in Greene and Fayette counties for over 45 years. Go to davisanddavislaw.com or call 724-437-2799 for your free consultation.
Celebrate under the stars. Join us Sunday evening, June 28th, for Fireworks Over Fayette, the grand finale to our county's epic 250th anniversary. Grab your lawn chairs and blankets and connect with family and friends. Pro tip, the fireworks can best be viewed in the area of Walmart and Target in Uniontown. WMBS will be broadcasting live starting at 7 p.m., leading right up to the first big blast after 9 o'clock. It's all brought to you by Love Fayette and the Fayette Chamber of Commerce.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Warm weather means you'll be spending more time outside. So enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturer and customers guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sproul's Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sproulsinsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
It's the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown, 590 AM, 101.1 FM. I'm Doug Saltzman. That's Nick Barczyk. We're with you till 6 o'clock tonight. National news, local news, sports, weather, and then our pregame at 6:15. First pitch against Seattle, an American League team, at 6:40 tonight. So stick around for that. Good night. Sit on the porch, listen to Pirate Baseball. Let's see if they can tie this series 1-1. Want to thank Jim Garrity for joining us a few moments ago from AAA. Again, want to check out the gas price meter that they do for AAA, gasprices.aaa.com. I should say that more correctly. Gasprices.aaa.com is the website. Right now, what is it? The average price in Pennsylvania for gas is $4.07, $3.92 nationally. So Pennsylvania is always a little bit higher. We have a pretty high gas tax in Pennsylvania. Joining us right now on the WM line from Franklin and Marshall College, Professor Burwood Yost, director of the Franklin and College Poll, and he's got about 7 other titles as well, but we'll get to that in a few moments. Professor, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Doug. Thanks for having me. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I always joke you must have an awfully big business card. You've got quite the responsibilities here. Latest polling, the June poll by Franklin and Marshall College, to put it very bluntly, very quickly, does not bode well for the President of the United States, does it?
Yeah, the numbers are among the worst we've seen at this point in the midterm. I mean, you have to go back to George Bush in October of 2008 to get to numbers that are this poor in terms of presidential approval. So they're not good.
It gets some idea. Now, the polling, of course, is for Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is pretty much evenly divided these days. At one point during the Obama years, Democrats had more than 1 million more voters registered than the Republicans did. But that really has completely changed. It's basically a tie at this point in Pennsylvania. But the support for the president isn't exactly tied among voters in this state, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, he's viewed pretty negatively, and, you know, when you ask generally how they feel about him, the results are negative. But then when you ask specifically, you know, about things like inflation and foreign policy, his numbers are underwater for those items too.
Give us some idea of those numbers, if you don't mind. Give us a general idea of how those numbers break down.
Sure. So right now, the lowest numbers he's got are dealing with inflation. Only 17% of voters give him an A or a B. So that's down from 31% in October. When you're talking about handling foreign policy, right now it's 29%, excellent or very good. In October, it was 42%. And the same is true for even handling immigration. That's his best numbers, it's 39%. But even that is down from about nearly half in October. So we've seen a tremendous decline in his general and specific job approval rate.
It's not shocking when numbers go up and down like that. I think back, and I've been doing polling analysis and polling since the mid-'80s, literally. It's hard to believe this year marks 40 years in politics for me, or related positions and career choices on my part. But when you think at one point where George H.W. Bush, the elder, 1 year before re-election in 1992, had an approval rating pushing 90%. Yeah. And then he gets 37% of the vote to Bill Clinton's 43% of the vote. So, yeah, numbers going up and down like that aren't shocking at times. But, yeah, this is very interesting considering one of the main reasons people voted for Trump, according to polling, was the issue of inflation, that along with immigration. And now it's completely flip-flopped. They're blaming him for inflation. So it's sort of interesting, but perhaps not surprising considering how polling goes up and down on a regular basis. We always joke the one thing that never loses in politics is the pendulum. It swings back and forth. It just depends which way it swings at any given time.
That's exactly right. I mean, look, Joe Biden couldn't escape the inflation problems. Trump was reelected to kind of solve that issue. I think that was really decisive in 2024. And voters don't think he's delivered. Right now, 35% of them say that the economy is the biggest problem. They think Democrats are going to be able to handle that better than Republicans today. That wasn't true in 2024. And in fact, Doug, almost half of voters said their own personal finances are worse today than they were a year ago. So all these numbers, as you say, polling data goes up and down, but we don't often see such big movement in such a short period of time. And I really do think the war in Iraq and what it has done to gas prices, et cetera, has really had a negative impact on the president and his approval rating.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier with Jim Garrity from AAA, I brought up the example. There's really only one commodity out there that you can drive along any street and see what it costs. You know, that law that was passed that say gas stations have to advertise the price of their product on a big sign out front. You don't see that about the price of milk. You don't see that about the price of bread. You don't see that about the price of shoes. But it's in your face all the time. It's just not when you're buying gas for your car. It's anytime you're driving past a gas station. And my gosh, there are more than one intersection around that have a gas station on 2, 3, or 4 corners. So obviously, I would think that has to have some impact on what people think about inflation and gas prices, considering it's staring you in the face constantly.
Well, it is, and it's coming out of your pocket to pay for that. And if you don't understand, the reason for the war, which I think one of the faults, you could fault the Trump administration for not making a good case and bringing the American public along. So, and many people, if you look at polling, don't believe that this was a good idea. So you haven't brought the public along, and all of a sudden they see their gas prices rising like mad. And as you say, they see it everywhere. You can't escape it. It's going to have an effect.
Every once in a while, a gas station manager with a sense of humor will change the wording up on that sign, and you usually see it at times when it hits that high number. And recently, when it was hitting about almost $5 a gallon, I passed one of those gas stations where they took the numbers down for regular and medium and premium, and it said arm and leg, which I thought was a pretty good thing to do. I don't know if that manager got approved by his corporate people to put that up, but it was a good line, I thought. The price of gas these days. As we talked with Burwood Yost, Professor Burwood Yost, I should say, from Franklin Marshall College, director of the Franklin Marshall poll. Let's talk about the governor's race. Very tough in Pennsylvania to beat an incumbent governor, since governors can run for re-election, which first time was 1974. Only one incumbent governor has lost, Tom Corbett. So it's not easy to defeat an incumbent governor in Pennsylvania, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, they tend to win. As you said, Corbett's the only one that has lost re-election. And among those who've won, Doug, I think the average margin of victory is about 19 points. So it is really tough to beat an incumbent. And part of the reason is structural, right? Josh Shapiro is not in the president's party, and that helps him in a midterm. And so, the structural features of this race are going to make it really hard for Stacey Garrity. I mean, he's winning by 20 points. Almost every poll I've seen shows him ahead by 20 points. But even if you look at other indicators like fundraising, advertising, it's just not a race yet. We'll see if she's able to really engage and raise some money and communicate effectively. But right now it's Shapiro is comfortably ahead.
Yeah, it's been 24 years since the party of the president did well or picked up seats in Congress in a midterm election. That was 2002. All rules were different then. That was less than, that was a year after 9/11.
Right.
And the President Bush, the younger, was president, and his party picked up seats in 2002. But that's the last time it's happened.
Yep.
And it didn't happen a lot before then either.
Nope, it doesn't happen often. It's more common for the party in power to lose seats. So there's almost a penalty for winning the presidency. And there's always sort of a backlash when, the president's party maybe is perceived as going too far down one direction, and there's this natural pushback from voters, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But we're at a place where that natural pushback that we normally see is exacerbated, I think, by Trump's low approval rate.
And there's always those who are simply going to say they don't approve of what the president or a governor is doing if they're in the party that they're not in. It's just one of those automatics. It's just going to be. I recall you and I talked about polling that was done, whether people approved of the way Governor Josh Shapiro handled the I-95 collapse near Philadelphia, which PennDOT did an incredible job. They had that road up and running within, I think, 3-4 weeks. And there were those who disapproved of how that was handled. So how could you disapprove of that? There was a fire under a bridge. It caused the bridge to collapse on one of the biggest interstates literally in the country, I-95, which goes the entire East Coast. So there are those who are simply going to be against whomever is not in their party, correct?
Well, that's true. But here's the thing. The difference between Shapiro's approval ratings and Trump's, I mean, Shapiro's about 20 points higher. About half of voters say he's doing an excellent, good job. And it's because a quarter of Republicans think he's doing a good job. And, 40% of independents believe that, in addition to all the Democrats. And so, we talk about polarization and partisanship, but if you want your job approval rating to improve, you've got to reach out beyond your base. Trump's not doing that. And Shapiro has.
Yeah, and I think what was different too on this re-election for Governor Shapiro, governors usually win close elections for their first term. That wasn't the case. He won overwhelmingly in his first election, and that's not always the case. When you think of how close the election was, say for Dave McCormick to beat Bob Casey Jr., my gosh, that was within less than 0.5%. There was an automatic recount as a result. That election was so close. But in the case of Shapiro, he won overwhelmingly over Doug Mastriano. One of the biggest not upsets, but biggest defeats in an open governor's seat in my memory, going back to the 60s and 70s. It was unheard of for an open seat to win that big.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, look, 2022 should have been the year that Republicans won back the governorship. I mean, an unpopular Democrat was president. We were just coming off 2 terms of a Democrat who was also pretty unpopular by the end. And so you would have expected the Republicans to carry the day, but they didn't. And a lot of reasons for that. I would expect an incumbent to do better in their re-election than in their first term.
Yeah. At one point in 2022, in that Republican primary for governor, there were a dozen people running. A dozen.
Yes.
And it just now he won with a sizable plurality, not a majority, in that primary, but it did not translate. As I've said several times, it happens a lot with candidates. They keep running in the primary through November when you got to start running in the general at some point. When I was with the political consulting firm, we always said you got to flex muscles you're not used to using. You got to give speeches to people that may not like you. You got to win over the other side. And Mastriano just never did that.
Yeah, especially in a state like Pennsylvania, right? I mean, this state is anybody can win it. So you've got to get beyond your base to do that.
Yeah, as Jim Carville said, the legendary political consultant, while you have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, you got Alabama in the middle, but you still have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And Republicans have to win those regions, in addition to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Erie, State College area, etc. Again, Professor Burwood Jost joining us on the WMBS Newsmakers line, director of the Franklin and Marshall College poll, also director of the Floyd Institute, the Center for Opinion Research and Public Opinion, and a senior adjunct research instructor of government as well. Professor, as always, we enjoy talking to you and appreciate your analysis of the polling you do at Franklin and Marshall. If folks want to follow what you do, if they want to get regular updates, how can they do that?
They can just go to our website, fandmpoll.org, and sign up. It'll come right to their inbox.
There we go. F and M, just like it sounds,
Yep.
.edu and also /politics, but also F&M poll as well.
Yep.
I guess Google Franklin Marshall poll, and you'll get everything you need to know.
It'll
about
come
it.
up. That's right. That's right.
And you're on all the social medias as well. Professor, thank you very much. We appreciate talking to you. Look forward to talking to you next month as well. Thanks so much.
Sounds good, Doug. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Take care. You too. We're going to take a break, folks. When we come back, Nick and I are going to wrap up the show for tonight. I almost said it again. CBS News coming up at 6. No, it's Fox News coming up at 6. I think a lot of folks have been surprised by Fox News. They're pretty even-handed, the radio news is. That's, of course, we're now affiliated with Fox. And, of course, we do the news top of the hour and sometimes at the bottom of the hour as well. Stick around. We'll be back.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Looking to start a career in nursing? The Indiana County Technology Center is now recruiting for its part-time 16-month practical nursing program at the Connellsville Career and Technology Center. Named the 2025 Best in Fayette winner for Best Post-Secondary School in Fayette County, ICTC Connellsville offers a flexible program designed for real life, combining in-person classes, hybrid learning, and clinical experiences at sites close to home. But don't wait, spots are limited and filling fast. Classes meet just 2 evenings a week from 5 to 9 p.m., plus daytime clinicals every Friday and every other Saturday. Graduates can also earn college credits and gain advanced standing to continue up the nursing career ladder. With a 97% pass rate on licensure exams, now is the time to secure your place for the August start date. Federal financial aid and PA CareerLink funding are available for those who qualify. To learn more or apply today, visit indianacountytechnologycenter.edu/practical nursing.
The 2026 Best in Fayette contest is officially underway. Voting runs from June 24th through July 8th. This year, we've added brand new categories, including credit unions, DJ services, property management, and speech and occupational therapy. Plus, you can cast your vote for top local home pros, from remodelers and contractors to gutter, awning, and junk removal services. Support your community and make your voice heard. For more information, go to bestinfayette.com.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
As the nation and county turns 250, join us at 7 p.m. July 1st for a countywide night of worship, prayer, and unity at the EQT Arena at the Fayette County Fairgrounds as churches gather together to seek the heart of God. As we reflect on America's 250th year, we look ahead with faith and expectation for the future. We believe God is calling His church to greater unity and a renewed commitment to serve our communities. It's more than a worship gathering. It's a starting point for pastors, leaders, churches, families, and believers across denominations to come together with one heart and one mission: to love God, love people, and believe for transformation in our county. Join us as we pray for our schools, families, foster homes, churches, leaders, and future generations. Let's celebrate what God has done and believe together for what's ahead. America's 250, a night of worship, EQT Arena, Fayette County Fairgrounds, 7 p.m. July 1st, hosted by the Churches of Love Fayette.
WNBS.
We are 1 minute away from Fox News at the top of the hour, followed by local news, weather and sports, Pirates baseball pregame, 6:15, first pitch 6:40, taking on Seattle. Who's pitching tonight, Nick?
For your Pittsburgh Pirates, it's Braxton Ashcraft, who's maybe had the best year of any pitcher for the Buccos, even better than Paul Skeens. So it's going to win tonight against the Mariners.
Skeens the other night, the Pirates backed him up with 1 run of support. Good heavens. You know, it's frustrating at times, but he seems to be handling it okay. You don't hear him bad-mouthing people or that sort of thing. But, yeah, you got to give the poor guy more than 1 run. 76 degrees and sunny right now outside our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios. I'm Doug. That's Nick. Stick around for the news and Pirate baseball. Have a good night.
High-stakes meeting at the White House. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. As President Trump sits down with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte.
I just want their loyalty. We don't need their money. We don't need anything. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. But I just want loyalty. You know, we're so loyal to them.
The president says NATO didn't do enough to aid with the Iran conflict, but Rutte, using charts, outlined the numbers, saying about 5,000 U.S. planes took off from bases in Europe during the conflict. The White House has formally asked for nearly $88 billion in defense spending, mostly to replenish stockpiles after the conflict. A tense meeting this afternoon between the president and Senate Republicans, a shouting match breaking out between the president and Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy after the president asked about the War Powers resolution.